All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, Tidewater Partners? We are very excited today to have a training with a annuity partner of ours that really helps us with the wealth side of our company. And as many of you know, you've had a lot of conversations with us about the Medicare side and the final expense side. But we're really excited today to welcome our partners from Brokers International that are going to be really talking to you about, the opportunity with annuities, how to do business with us on the annuity side. So it really provides some clarity because I know many of you have already had some illustrations done and you kind of were, wondering what the next steps are. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to introduce two of my friends in this industry. I have Troy Moon and Tim Cooper from Brokers International. What's up, guys? How you
Hey,
doing?
good.
Hey,
Thanks for having us.
Awesome, awesome. Super excited to have these guys. They work over at Brokers International. They're an integrity partner, just like we are, and excited to have them on. So, folks, many of you all think of us as the Medicare shop. Well, Brokers International is the wealth shop, annuities, big life cases. Like this is what they do. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to turn it over to these guys because they're the experts and they're just going to kind of walk you through on how to do business with brokers, some of the resources that they're offering so you can get comfortable with them. So, floor's yours, guys.
Thanks. Hey, first of all, thanks for having me. Always glad to talk about what BI has to offer for, um, especially our integrity partners. So, yes, we are actually celebrating our 40th year in business. Brokers International is this year, and last month I celebrated my 20th year with the company. So, a lot of history with the company. Once again, I'm Tim Cooper. I'm the vice president of annuity sales here, and would be your main contact between Troy and I as far as relations um, with Tidewater and any downline agencies and agents they have. Troy, want to introduce yourself before we get going?
yeah, just real quick. My name's Troy Moon. I'm a business development consultant here at BI. Work real closely with Coop and the downline groups that he works with. Like he said, he's more the relationship guy. My expertise, if I have one, would be product education, case design, illustrations, things like that. So if you come across an annuity opportunity, you can reach out to myself or my team and we can help you find the right fit.
Yeah, perfect. I always want to start off with the beginning of a relationship, right? Anytime we bring on new partners, new agencies, new agents, you would love for the best part of that relationship to be the beginning of it. But because contracting, along with maybe some releases if you're currently doing business with carriers, have to be done first. And we're all anxious to write business. Like, hey, I've got a piece of business to write. How do I get that accomplished? Or I have a downline agent that needs to write it. Well, we always have to pause and say, hey, look, we've got to go through the contracting process, and that does take a little bit of time. Yes, there's some carriers that we can submit contracts with business at the same time, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. Therein lies some issues there, matching those up, making sure everything's done right. If there's something missing from contracting or the business, so my best suggestion is we like to start off with contracting first, right? Let's get contracting established. We know we're appointed. We have an agent code. We've done our product training. We can write business, and that's not going to be anything that holds up at least the business on that end. If we are in a hurry, we got a client that we need to submit something, hit a deadline, absolutely. We certainly can do that process together, but I just want you to be well aware of, some hiccups can happen along the way when we're trying to do things together. Not a big deal, but like I said, anytime issues happen at the beginning of a relationship, when it comes to those small things, we never like to have. So, but once you're on board with Brokers International, I certainly think we have all the tools that can help you with your business. If you're currently doing business now, maybe with another organization, how we can stack up is, Troy and I and our team here, we are your annuity sales team. You call us, we run your illustrations, we'll help you with tough clients. You might say, hey, I got this client here, here's their needs, I don't really know what to do with them. We can kind of help iron that out. on the life side. Scott Truca and his team, full service as well on the life side. Life's a little bit different. I'm an annuity guy, so I'll do my best, but all the way from pre-sale illustrations, all the way to submitting business to them, and walk you through the full underwriting, which is awesome, right? On the annuity side, we also do the pre-sale illustrations, help you with case design, submit your business. If it comes to us, we have a new business team that reviews it, ensures that's in good order, send that on to the carrier, and we can follow up on that. And I'll briefly go through a business builder tool that we've created that helps you with all those processes. But here I'm going to pause and send it over to Troy. Troy will definitely be able to help you with how that process looks like from start to finish, at least through the pre-sale process. So.
Absolutely. And like I said, most of the time, how it gets started off is a phone call or an email when you have uncovered an annuity opportunity. So I know that Tidewater has created a couple of fact finders. So if you don't have those, they can definitely get you what you need. And a lot of times those are really helpful for us when we're taking a look at the case in general, just because most of the questions that are going to be on that fact finder are going to be exactly what I would be asking you over the phone, or if you shot me an email, I'd be emailing you back and getting that information from you. So it's kind of an efficient way to kind of nip that and get straight to the point and let us know exactly what kind of opportunity you have. From there, typically what we do is we'll run a couple of illustrations. The good thing about working with BI is we don't have any shortage of carrier relationships or products. So I'm very confident that no matter what opportunity you uncover, we're going to have multiple options, and we're going to send you multiple options. As you send us, these requests over and over, you'll probably see there's a typical theme. We do about, I would say, 90% of our business with 7 carriers, although we have anywhere from 35 to 40 carrier partners. So obviously we have the companies that we work with a lot, that we trust. We have great communication back and forth with them, and at the end of the day, have the product that we can really stand behind and know that we're going to be getting you some really great product that you can offer to the client at the end of the day. So once we send those illustrations out to you, we usually have a follow-up call. And with that follow-up call, we'll discuss, a couple of the options that we sent, and then we can really nail it down to, 1 or 2 options that we really think your client will benefit from. And then that's when, you can kind of make the decision which way you want to go. Back to Coop's point earlier about contracting. At that point, if we haven't got the ball rolling on contracting yet, then we would really want to start doing that once we figure out a carrier or 2 that you might be going with. And I did just want to echo, he mentioned it, which I'm glad he did, the product training. If you'd never written the product before, you're always, no matter what product it is with annuities, you're always going to have to take the product training. It's a one and done, of course, but if you've never written the product before, that's going to be very important, because if you end up selling the annuity and you get signatures and dates on the app, then you'll have to go back and get those signatures and dates again from the client if you haven't taken the product training. So just wanted to echo that. It's going to be very, very important. The next step, Coop, did you have something? All right, the next step, I'll just real briefly go over this. Next step would be to actually submit the application. And when Coop shows the little business builder demo here in a little bit, or at least we'll talk about it, this is where you will be submitting your business. And it's not the only way, but in my opinion, it's the best way to do it electronically. So through the business builder, dashboard, you'll be able to access what's called Right Now. It's the instance of Firelight, and most all annuity carriers are on there. So pretty much any product that you're going to go with, you'll have the ability to do an e-app. We'll get you all set up with that. We can do a tutorial. We can walk you through. It's real user friendly. We've found even the agents or the agencies that have told us up front that they're not going to be using e-apps, they stumble across an opportunity where they can use it, and they use it once or twice, and they don't ever go back. It really is the most efficient way to submit business. It's cleaner. It's easier for the new business team to review. It's easier to get to the carrier, and then at the end of the day, like we all want, it's everybody gets paid faster. So they're really, again, in my opinion, that's really the only way to do it. Now, I understand if there's one-offs, we have to do a paper app here and there, of course, no problem. But I think our adoption percentage is over 60%. So it's between 60 and 70% of the business that's coming through our office is coming through e-app, and we're just, we're working hard to try to increase that, every quarter. So that is pretty much the pre-sale process. Again, that's when you uncover the opportunity, how you get a hold of us, how we're going to work with you, and then eventually how we're going to submit the business.
Great. Thanks, Mooney. Okay, so let's talk about prospecting. I know a lot of folks in the health space, and you can tell this isn't my expertise, the Med Advantage, the Med Sup world, and open enrollment. Just insurance agents out there would love to have the database that you do and the names and the prospects that you have already in your system. But outside of that, if you did need something else, we do have relationships with certain vendors that do anywhere from seminars to some direct mail to even some direct leads. Percentages of responses, of course, go down from, if you do a seminar, you have better results there of someone just attending a meeting. If you go all the way down to, can you just find me a lead, right? But we do have that options as well for you. We do have a relationship with vendors if you just want to do a lead mailer and so forth on that. But of course, we have all the tools, like I say, from the pre-sale over to the final product of following up on business. But let me talk about some other tools, and I'm gonna try Mike's system here if I know how to show my screen. And let's see. All right. Did I do any good? Or
it StreamYard could be a little picky.
okay.
While Coop, while you're working with that, so Tidewater Partners, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Coop's screen up here. So the relationship we've had with brokers has been great. So we've had some business that has come in already, being submitted to brokers, and as you saw, as Troy and Coop were talking, and we call him Coop because the last name's Cooper. But once you can email us, like Troy said, we have built out a fact finding sheet. So if you have somebody, or if you don't already have somebody that might be interested in an annuity, go ahead and grab that fact finding sheet. So you can look through it and you can kind of understand the questions that are needed. And then once you have that, you can start onboarding with the carriers now. Like Troy and Tim were saying, look, folks, contracting it is what it is. We can't control how fast a carrier processes or doesn't process a contract. So go ahead and get appointed. Like Troy said, I think he said there's 7 or 8 carriers that they do 90% of the business with. Those are who we're going to recommend you get set up with, right? Get that in, get the fact finding sheet in. We will then send that fact finding sheet to brokers. Their amazing sales team will run an illustration for you, which I absolutely love because they're independent. It's not just one carrier. Once that illustration comes back, we send it to you. You talk about it with your client, right? Now, like Troy said, the client might accept it or they might have extra questions. If there are additional questions you don't feel comfortable, reach back out to us and we'll get you connected with Troy, with Coop, with the team so you can fully understand. So Now we're at the point where, okay, agent has got the fact finding sheet, business is ready to go in. Folks, this is where you want to pay attention because this resource, like Troy said, is absolutely incredible. So I'm logging off again. Floor is yours, Coop.
All right, thank you much. Hopefully, um, if these numbers are hard to see, the numbers are kind of irrelevant to what the process is or how this tool works. This is just a superstar right here. When Tidewater or Troy or myself or anybody at BI wants to invite someone to Tidewater's Business Builder, where it says superstar here, that will be Tidewater's logo, so you'll know you're in the right spot. Uh, this information that's on here is driven from a couple of places, from 8 of our carriers and or Brokers International's our own CRM. When you log in or create your account and you get logged into Tidewater's Business Builder, this is the landing. Now, this is a demo site I'm using. So the functionality of this is nowhere near what the functionality will be on the live version. But just so we have, dummy numbers and names and stuff in here, it's just more for me showing you what it looks like. But when you log in, the dashboard is what shows up first. I don't spend a lot of time on the dashboard because we created that to be a catch-all of some of the other most popular areas that people go to. So when you log in, this stuff is actually housed elsewhere, but also here if it's a quick reference in some of the things you use most often. If you're ever going to bookmark the site or save that to your favorites, when you click on the dashboard, whatever this main link is that shows up here is what you would want to use to bookmark it. Some people say, hey, I'm always in the sales tools section, so I'll just put it my favorites from that link. If you click on that link and try to log in, for some reason it doesn't like that. It has to be from this main link here. But let's talk about important updates. We all know that interest rates, products, everything's changing so fast in our industry. 20 years ago, I mentioned when I started, there was a company back then we did a lot of business with called Ameris. Ameris did not change a rate on new money products for a full year. You knew exactly what the rates were and what you were selling for a full year. To now today's environment, where 4 days can't go by without some carrier sending out a rate increase, decrease, new product, commission changes, whatever that is. It is so hard for us to keep track of that here, let alone you folks as agents out there in the street, right? How are you supposed to not only prospect, visit with clients, meet with them, but keep up to speed on what's going on in the industry? So this isn't clickable in the demo version, but if you would click this, the product and rate announcement, it's an amazing piece that we put together. So anytime we get carrier announcement, there's a rate change and when that's happening and so forth, we'll house it here. It might say, for example, American Equity, excuse me, is lowering rates on, what is it, Friday the 5th. Now, usually it's not 2 days advance. They usually give you about a week's notice. But if you're going to sit down with your client this week and say, I'm going to write an American Equity, you know what? Maybe I'll wait till Monday. You might want to go here and say, hey, is there a deadline for American Equity? If I put this off, am I going to be worse off? So that's what's amazing, right? Go in here, American Equity. There's a rate change. It's not till next Friday. I'm good. I can see that client Monday as long as I follow the rules that says I have to have a dated app in their hands by 5 o'clock on this date and so forth. Also, in the important updates will be anything else we feel might be important going on in the industry. Now, once again, because this is a demo site, I don't know if this is exactly what's still there, but the Secure Act is a hot topic right now in the industry. There was a lot of changes to RMDs and inherited IRAs and all that stuff. So with those changes, we try to keep everybody educated in what might be going on. So important updates section, definitely a place to hit. So I'll skip back over the dashboard. Now, excuse me, when I go to Submitted Analytics tab and I open this up as an agent and I expand personal business, this is where you will see, as a, excuse me, as a writing agent, everything about your business that you're doing. Anything under this Analytics tab, excuse me, we have, like Troy said, a lot of carriers, probably around 40 on the annuity side. And when we created this tool, we went to our insurance carriers and say, we want to a daily feed. We need to know that if anybody in our downline submits a piece of business to you, we need to know about that. 8 of those carriers can provide us a usable feed that automatically populates here. So, interestingly enough, 7 of those 8 are probably the 7 that Troy mentioned, or at least most of them are the carriers that make up what we do business with. So, and I apologize for this demo may run a little slower on the demo site. But although you'd be new coming on with Brokers International down the line, you'd be able to look back to previous years too. So for example, there's a date range that shows up on my personal snapshot here. And I, as an agent, can go, and this is just defaulted. Once again, I don't think we have data past in the demo version anyway, past February of 21. But you're able to set the date range of whatever criteria and data you're looking for based upon your business. The 8 carriers will show up here, and it will say that you've written 4 apps with Allianz. You've written 9, with American Equity. And you've written also 9 with Athene and 6 with Equitrust and so forth. Any of those 8 carriers you've written business with, that's where it shows up here based upon the date range that you choose. You could just drill it down and say, I only want to see a certain carrier or life or annuity. Okay. And then we have some fancy pie charts of which carriers you're writing. It'll give you an average case size and the total premium that you have pending right now within those carriers. Once again, I'll just throw out Liberty Bankers. That's another carrier we do business with. They mainly do fixed annuities, but they're not a company that would show up here. So you could have a couple of apps there that don't show up here necessarily because of the requirements of the 8 carriers that we can only get to send us data. So this is a nice tool to go in. If you only write an app every now and then, you probably know what you've written. But once you get far enough in your business to be able to go back and say, boy, what was that product I wrote again? And so, or that company at least. Policy details. Now, this tool is a submitted business tool. It was designed around if a submitted piece of business goes to a carrier, we know that because the carrier lets us know it hit their office. However, it can be an issued business tool as well. Right here in the policy details, as it's sitting there thinking, it'll give you a list. Once again, I'm under the analytics tab. So of those 8 carriers, what carrier was submitted, who the client is, what day it was submitted, and here we go. Carrier, policy number, the product, the premium, and so forth. And over here, you'll see when you submitted it to the carrier. And over here, it also does have the issue date. So if you go in here and you see you've got one submitted and there's no issue date, obviously, that means it's still pending. And once again, you can select the date range of whatever you're looking for, or just go by a carrier or line of business. Policy trends. This is where you can see by month, not only how many apps, but which carrier. And by the way, you can see when I put my cursor on anything on here with data, it'll tell you what that data means. So just based upon this default date range, in April, I submitted 3 pieces of business to Allianz. But over here, you can see that you submitted, or I did as an agent, multiple carriers and how many I did each month. I kind of like the trends because I can look back, once you use this for, say, a couple of years, you could go back and say, boy, you know what? I seem to be doing very well in this month, but February, every year, I seem to have a really, really low submit. Maybe I need to do more marketing or do something different in December and January so my February isn't quite as low as it normally is, and so forth. So once again, data that you can use however it is you choose. Now, everything you saw here is telling you which carrier that you've written. I've mentioned to our company when we designed Business Builder, there was a lot of intent and ideas of what data needed to be out there. And this is one of the pages that I look at and said, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same data I just went through in the snapshot area just more fancier in a pie chart and a line graph, but it is nice to have additional data there based upon your submits. I think they're looking at making a few changes coming up here by the end of the year. So, okay, days to issue. Here's what I love about this is that of those carriers, again, because remember I'm under analytics, you can see how long it's taking these carriers to process your business. This is dummy data again, so I don't want to pick on anybody in here in particular. Like F&G looks like it's the longest here. This is just, you know, um, not real data. So what I like about this is you can see who might be, because all carriers are getting an influx of business. Somebody might be behind at a certain time over other ones and so forth, and you'll be able to see that here. What I love about this is not how long it takes American Equity or how long it takes Athene to process business. This tells you how long it's taking for them to process your business, your alone. So you might send all your transfer business to American Equity and all your cash business to Athene. So obviously Athene's going to look like they're knocking it out of the park because they're issuing business a lot faster than American Equity because they were working with transfers and that process is a little longer. Anniversary list, once you get enough business on the books, a year from now, you'll be able to go in here and it will tell you from the date you're in there, the day I'm in there, in the next 30 days, what anniversaries are coming up? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to invite in my office and do an annual review with them? Great section here. Once again, and you can see my constant disclaimer. I'm in the analytics section, so this is with those 8 carriers. Finally, I've showed you all these different areas that talks about which carrier you're writing. We're going to extend that. We're going to take it a little farther. We're going to tell you now within those carriers what products are you writing. You might remember, God, I wrote a product a while back, last October. I can't remember exactly what that product was. You can go back and find all that data. Once again, pie chart line graph. Here, you not only wrote American Equity, you wrote the Asset Shield 10. Right. So nice little breakdowns here. You can only imagine at Brokers International's view of this, there isn't enough colors in the spectrum to really cover all the products that get sold. So sorry, trying to keep this as brief as possible because I could go on all day about this tool. But under analytics, those are the data you're going to see on your business. Now, when I go under sales reports, forget that I said there's only 8 carriers that show. Anything under the reports tab now is driven off our CRM. So this could be any carrier. So contract status. This is where you filled out a contract for Atlantic Coast Life. Remember, they weren't one of the 8 carriers that shows up in analytics. But if you want to get a contract with this company, it comes to our office. We're going to process it, and it has the information right here. I can expand that. Let's say that said NIGO. NIGO means it's not in good order. Why is it not in good order? Well, I expand this, and it says right here, we need a current copy of your E&O. That was outdated, the one you sent us, let's say. Oh, great. So I can go over here, I can click this ellipses, and right here I can attach a document. I click attach a document. I've got that E&O on my computer. I open it up. There's a place to drop that PDF in there, a little note. Here's my updated E&O. Please process. Boom. You hit send. That goes right to our contracting department. They will handle that. But here's where you can track the status of the contracts you fill out. You're just going to have to learn what our terminology means in status. Active means, hey, you've already been appointed by the carrier. Just in time means we've submitted that contract, but they don't actually do anything with it until you submit business. Awaiting status means we sent it to them. They're still processing it. And NIGO means just that. It's not in order, good order for some reason. Also under the status reports tab is annuity status updates. Now, once again, it doesn't matter. It's not just those 8 carriers anymore. It's any carrier. But your pending business is only going to show here if you submit that business to us. And by submit, I mean send us a PDF copy of it so we can review, hopefully get it in good order if it's not, with your assistance, and submit that to the carrier. We'll follow it up. Here's where the notes will show. Or if you do an EAP, EAPs automatically, when you click that submit button, come to our office, and we'll get that there in just a minute. But this is where your business shows. Now, you might say, hey, I wrote an Allianz product. Why isn't it showing here? And it would be because you submitted that direct to the carrier. It didn't touch our office. So our CRM can only display this data if we have that information, and that would mean that it touched our office. So great place to track your annuity business. Your issued annuity business will show up here as well. Life status updates works exactly the same as the annuity. You submit life business to us. However, because there's a little more stringent, longer process in underwriting, to issue life business, they've added that, boy, there's something really, really, really outstanding with this one we got to take care of. So they added some reds on the life side, which I love. That means this needs immediate attention. Ellipses over here as well. If you want to download these reports, most of these pages has this download button right here. And then, of course, in-force life business shows up here as well. So a ton of data here driven off of BI CRM, which means somehow we have to touch all that information for it to show here. And then finally, sales tools. These will be your, if you like to browse yourself and do some of the things yourself, we have annuity tools here like Annuity Specs. Journey Guide is a point of sale tool that you can use, but Annuity Specs is just a search and compare tool. But right here under eApp, right now is the name of our eApp system. Firelight is the company. When you buy it, you get to rename it anything you want. We named it right now. So that would be for annuities. And iGo is the e-application system on the life side. Now, I'm going to click this right now, but it's really not going to have any function because it's just a screenshot versus actually taking me there. Moon, you got some comments on this eApp here?
Just to echo a few of the quick things that you went over there, Coop. Like Coop said, the analytics will be beneficial most likely down the road, right? After you get some apps coming through, and then you can actually, get some data that you can look at. Where you're going to live when you're first coming on board is going to be the status updates, right? You're going to want to follow up on the contracting status updates. You're going to want to follow up on the annuity status updates. And before I jump into the eApp here real quick, I did just want to mention at the agent level. So you as an agent, you can actually set up notifications, and it's going to be at the top right of the screen. I don't think we can do it on the demo version, but you'll see your name on the top right of the screen. If you click that, it's going to give you your preferences. So we were getting a lot of questions from agents that were telling us the contracting status updates and the annuity new business status updates are great, but what are we supposed to do? Just get in like every morning, every afternoon, every night? So we've added a feature where you can actually get notified when something within your profile has been updated. So you can get a text message. You can put your phone number in there, so you'll get a notification via text, or you can put that you want to get notified via email. It's not going to tell you the specifics of what was updated. It's just going to ping you and say, hey, something a new annuity new business status update is available. So you'll have to log in to get that, but it's a nice feature. There you go. Coop could actually get in there. This is where you'll go to set up your preferences. And like I said, it's nice that it's going to notify you when you have something to come out to check. And there'll be a full list of things that you can get notified on. Here's an example, right? So you don't have to click them all, but anything at that point in time that you think is going to be beneficial, go ahead and mark it, and we'll notify you once something's available. So I did just want to mention a few of those real quick things. Not a whole lot as far as the eApp, just for the sake of time. I mean, we like Coop said, a lot of the stuff we could talk about all day. I'm happy to do any type of tutorials or anything like that offline with anybody that gets contracted and has questions via the eApp. We can hop in. The one thing I do want to point out is the great part, because we get the question a lot, well, why wouldn't I just use the carrier website? Because all carriers, for the most part, have their own eApp portal as well, just like we do. The one thing that I like to point out is if you submit an app direct to the carrier, and you're using their eApp, or even if you started one and you call me and say, I'm having troubles. Well, if it's through the carrier, I don't have line of sight on it. I probably can figure out what's going on and be able to help you. But it's going to take a little bit for me to figure out exactly what's going on. If you're using right now, The great part is we have a line of sight on those apps, so I can hop in and actually see what you're doing up to the most recent save point. Of course, it's not like an actual live feed, but I can very easily get in there and see, what may be the issue. Oh, you marked this, you needed to mark that, and help you troubleshoot. So that's another huge pro as far as using this software, is because we're able to help you out when you get into a little bit of a pinch. But like I said, happy to go through any tutorial with anybody. It usually doesn't take too long. Like I said, this is a very user friendly system. And again, in my opinion, it's the only way to submit business. If we can do it that way, it's efficient, clean, and everybody. It's good for everybody involved, all parties. So yeah, like I said, just let us know if you need a walkthrough. We're happy to do it.
All right. Sorry, I was muted. Thanks, Moon, for that. Also, I want to give Life its due as well. They have a lot more pre-sale tools to run illustrations, scenarios, and examples, things like that on the Life side. So all that can be done here as well. I won't elaborate too much. I know Mike probably wanted to keep this at least at the 30-minute mark, and we're right there. But hopefully, what we addressed here is just the amount of tools that we have to offer, and not only the tools, but our support as well. So, Mike, sorry if we kind of rambled a little bit
Oh my
there,
gosh.
but we got a lot of stuff.
No. Dude, it was awesome. And seeing Business Builder firsthand, it reminds me a lot of Medicare Center, right? So you have multiple carriers in one platform that you have line of sight on, right? Because we struggle with that on the Medicare side before Medicare Center. We had to log in to every different, and it was cumbersome. So having this access to this business builder is really cool. And having access to your team is even cooler. So
Yeah. And we're constantly working with carriers to try to figure out a way they can get us a data feed to continually update more than just those 8 carriers. I think when we first
awesome.
launched it, we had 3, so we're getting there.
So cool. So folks, if you're sitting here watching today, and maybe you're writing annuities with somebody else, and now you know that we have access to an amazing team and some amazing resources, or maybe this might even spark some conversation within yourself, saying, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I could start doing some of this stuff." Just know that because of our partnership with Brokers International, they've got the team, they've got the expertise, they've got the resources. Um, they're the experts at this, and they're our partners. So we're very fortunate to have them. So Troy, Tim, thank you so much. I think this is going to, clear up a lot of things for brokers that are interested in partnering with us on the annuity and even the life cases side. So I just want to thank you guys. This has been really good.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. 888-622-9122. As you can see it on the screen. You can also email me. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen as well. Mike@tidewatermg.com. We want to kind of facilitate the whole thing. So we're not keeping brokers busy with stuff that they don't need to be doing. Right. So run it through us so we can kind of, circulate all that information, and feel free to give us a call, shoot me an email. But these guys are awesome. So thanks, Coop. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate everything you do, man.
You bet. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.